Hello, everyone. Welcome to our Facebook Live today. My name is Esther, and I'm so glad to see so many of you with us. I see users from all over the world. We just received this really nice comment here I see from Terry, and she wrote, "It's exciting to see people from so many countries. Hello to all from Georgia, USA." So that's exactly it, Terry. It is so nice to see viewers from all over the world, from all the different corners. And these Facebook Lives really allow us all to come together and learn about genealogy and family history from places where we wouldn't necessarily meet each other. So glad to see you all. Thank you for joining us. We have a great session for you all today. So excited for today's session. So really great class we have. We'll be talking about the theory of family relativity with Kitty Cooper. So just a fantastic lecture that we have for you all. Before we get to that, I just want to let you know about a few things that we have going on here at MyHeritage. So a few exciting announcements. And the first one is that starting yesterday, we just announced our Black Friday DNA sale. So we started early this year, want to allow all of you to have some time to do your holiday shopping. We know that this year, some of you might not be with your loved ones. You may be a little far away. So it's a great opportunity for you to purchase a MyHeritage DNA kit for them, for those that you might not be able to spend some time with physically. So our Black Friday sale is now live. For those of you in the USA, it's a fantastic price of $39 US. There are similar low prices all around the world. So we'll be putting a link to the Black Friday DNA sale in the comment section, and we hope that you are able to take advantage of that. So great time to do your holiday shopping. Fantastic prices. And I'm sure Kitty will talk about this as we go on today, how worth it is for you to test other members in your family and how that'll help you along with your family history research. It's really advantageous. Besides for that, we also have a MyHeritage, wrong image there. We also have a MyHeritage gift membership. This is something that we just started offering this year, that you can purchase a MyHeritage complete plan for a loved one, family member, friend, anyone who you feel is excited about their family history journey. You can now purchase them a MyHeritage complete plan. That's the best plan that we have available on MyHeritage. It enables you to have access to 12.7 billion historical records, unlimited family tree size, just the best plan, access to all of our photo tools, MyHeritage in color, the MyHeritage photo enhancer. So also a fantastic gift idea. If you have family and friends and they've already taken a DNA test, try out a gift membership for them. And we have an introductory price of 50% off those. So really a great deal as well. And we'll put a link to that also in the comments section. In addition, we have a giveaway for today's show. So today we'll be giving away a MyHeritage DNA kit. A fantastic prize, as I've already mentioned. All that you have to do to enter is just leave us a comment in the comment section and let us know what you've discovered using MyHeritage. If you haven't taken a DNA test yet, let us know what you've discovered just using records, historical records, smart matches. We'd love to hear about your discoveries. So leave us a comment in the comment section, and at the end of today's session, after the questions, we'll be giving away a DNA kit to one lucky winner. So an exciting giveaway for today's show. For today's session, we have a fantastic guest. We have Kitty Cooper, and she is a well-known rock star blogger on genetics and genealogy. We'll be putting a link to her blog in the comments section so you can check it out on your own. She started her blog in 2012 to keep track of her own DNA and genealogy research, and it has since blossomed. It receives a few thousand unique visitors every day. It's just a fantastic resource, and she really is such an expert in genetic genealogy for the whole community. So it's really our pleasure to introduce her, a great friend of MyHeritage. Hello, Kitty. How are you?
Hello, how are you? It's the
Good.
70s here.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
It's my pleasure, and a shout out. I see two of my cousins here, Barbara from the Buffalo area, and Corinne. I warn you, Corinne, I have a picture of you in this presentation, who's enjoying the weather in Palm Springs. And I saw someone from Germany. Hey, get everybody to test in Germany. There aren't enough testers. And I wish I saw more Norwegians. I did see at least one Norwegian and Swede. It's just so exciting, all the different places people are from.
Yeah, really from all over. I see Sharon from Toronto. That's my hometown. Hello, Sharon. And let's see, we have, just people from all over. Dorothy says happy Thanksgiving. So happy almost Thanksgiving to you as well, Dorothy. Just amazing. Michelle says, I just bought 5 DNA kits 3 weeks ago for family and friends. Well, it just means you'll get your results much quicker, Michelle. So congratulations. And
right, look at the bright side. You'll have your results back before the rush. That's anyway.
So we're so glad to have you with us today. And Theory of Family Relativity is just such an amazing DNA tool that I think a lot of our users can really learn more about. So really a fantastic topic.
It's a wonderful topic. It is a really breakthrough tool. I love the way MyHeritage has implemented it. So I'm going to go into the gory details of how to use it to build your family tree today, because you can't just click over easily, which is a good thing because that's how errors get reproduced all over the internet. And there are quite a few on other people's copies of my family tree. I hate going around and correcting them all the time. But it happens. So, oh, there's Kathy Ann from Norway. Yes, so I'm so happy you're here. Okay, so.
Fantastic. So should I bring up your slides?
I think it's time to get started. Does everybody want to get started? Okay.
Let's do it. Okay, let me bring them up. One moment.
Let's see. I have to go over there to here. Can you see my slides now? Are they up?
Yep, perfect.
All right. Now, one thing about my slides is I always have them online. So if you go to slides.com/Kitty Cooper, every presentation I've ever given, the slides are there. So you can go back through these slides at your leisure. And I tend to give fairly detailed presentations about how to do stuff. All right, Theory of Family Relativity, Tofer. It can use your DNA matches and all those hundreds and thousands of user trees on MyHeritage to find new family branches. Now, I don't know about you, but for me, finding cousins is great fun. I've put a URL up there. Again, if you go to my slides, URLs are clickable, which talks about all the gory details of Tofer. But today I'm going to talk about how to use it. There's my cousin Corinne. I warned you, you'd be in this presentation. Because of DNA, I've connected with just so many third and fourth cousins I didn't know. And I actually took a trip to Norway with my half-fourth cousin Corinne, and we stayed in the guest apartment of another fourth cousin who lives near Drammen. Beautiful. Oh, it was such a great trip. It really the trip of a lifetime. Thank you, Corinne. So what do you need? You need to have a tree. It's best if you have it back to your great-great-grandparents, but at least to your great-grandparents, although I certainly have theories of family relativity with people who only had their grandparents. So it's a question of how many other people share your ancestry, whether your grandparents are in other people's tree. But the further back you go, the better results you'll get. Now, of course, you have to have a DNA test as well. So when you have a good tree, then the theory can often figure out your relationships. Now, this is my second cousin, John, and I'll use him a lot in this presentation because he's very useful, because it fits nicely on the screen. And he's also on MyHeritage with a tree that has a few flaws, but that's normal for cousins. So what do you need? You have to have a DNA test at MyHeritage. Now, and you have to have that tree. You can use a transferred test, or you can test at MyHeritage. A number of people have asked me whether it's better to test at MyHeritage. Well, you need their test if you want the health results. But in fact, this person, Stephen, is tested both at MyHeritage and had an ancestry kit uploaded. So I was curious to see how he compared to himself. And you can see 99.9% the same. That's pretty good. But more important, how does he compare to a relative? All right, so here's a third cousin once removed, and you can see, well, look at all those triangulations, that there are only 3 places where there's any difference. So my answer is, for the most part, you can use a transfer kit just fine. It's close enough for government work, as they say. So, you ready? Let's talk about you click there, and then on your DNA matches, you can click on the word filters to see all those filter menus. You see all tree details, all relationships, all locations, all ethnicities. I love these filters. I like to play with them all the time. I sometimes look for everyone from Norway because I'm half Norwegian. But to do my family, every time a new run comes out of Family Relativity, I like to go and have a look. So I click on filters and then click on the all tree details, and that has a menu which has this golden words, has theory of family relativity. Now I see only my DNA matches that have theories. So that's terrific for processing through them and looking at new ones. So there's my second cousin John, who I've talked about before. And here's what that entry looks like for him. You can see that I can click on the view theory, or I can click on the review DNA match button. If I review my DNA match with John, the first thing at the top of the page after how much we share is the theory of how we're related. And you see the purple button, view theory. You can see the other theories. Now you see I have path 1, path 2, path 3, path 4, path 5. The differences are which records and which trees they use to come to these conclusions. As you can see, there's a Stein tree and a Hodenland tree. Neither of the trees used here are mine or my cousin's, but we seem to be in enough other trees that they 100% confident, well, yeah, they're right. That probability is listed at the top and listed when you cross from one tree to the next tree or to the record. And the probabilities are pretty accurate. So let's now look at a match, a distant match here. I have this guy who has 55 centimorgans with my dad, and there's a theory for him. And I want to go directly to those multiple theories by clicking on that view. You see that view theory? Yeah, I want to get to the multiple theories right away. And what do I see? Well, I see that my dad's mother's father's father had a sister named Lisbeth, who is the ancestor of cousin Nilsson. And I'm looking through this, and the key here is whether or not my great-granddad had a sister Lisbeth, and whether that's the same Lisbeth who is listed in his tree. So I go and look, and when I go to my tree, I look at Halvor to see whether he had a sister Lisbeth. Now, in my tree at MyHeritage, there's no sister Lisbeth. That doesn't mean he didn't have a sister Lisbeth. I know my tree at MyHeritage was very rough. I uploaded it just to get DNA matches, and it often just has ancestors and not all the side branches. But I'm building it slowly. Genie is where I have most of my most up-to-date tree. So I checked there, and I checked in my software on my computer, and they both have Lisbeth. But is it the same Lisbeth? That's often the question. I also, for those of you who do Norwegians, they have these wonderful farm books which have all these details. Now, I looked in the farm book entry for Halvard's family, and sure enough, there's the sister Lisbeth, 1804 to 1858. So the big trick is, it seems like the family of Relativity looks at the birth and death years first. And those will usually be the same because that's why they think it's the same person. But the next thing to check are locations. Now, I see that in the tree we're matching to, she was listed as dying at Vesti and not Biorgio. And Vesti is actually the farm next to Biorgio. And I see in my tree, I have her dying at Biorgio, but I may not be right. Remember, when I looked in the farm book, it has her dying at Vesti. So she married somebody who lived next door to her family. This happened a lot. In fact, it's a fairly endogamous area in Norway, so I'm never surprised when I have matches that look bigger than they really are from that part of the world. Okay, so here she is. This looks like the same Lisbeth. Now, in this other tree, they don't have her parents, and that's probably because whoever built that tree is related to her husband, not to her. So let's have a look. Do they have the same spouse? Now, in my tree, I don't have the spouse. I don't have the descendants. So what about Cousin Nilsson's tree? He's got a spouse, Joni Gottskallsen Norheim. You gotta love these Norwegian names. It's a whole art to understand them. But basically, Joni's father was named Gottskallk, and Norheim is the farm he was from. So I look at that farm entry for Vesti again in my handy dandy farm books, and I see this looks completely accurate. This is definitely the husband of our Lisbeth. So I want to add her to my tree. I want to add that branch. This is exciting. I love meeting new cousins, but you can't just click them over. So what do I do to add Lisbeth to my tree? I'm going to go back to one of her parents and find a record that includes Lisbeth, and then I can click it over. So here we go. On her mother has a easier name, I thought, than her father. So I went to her mother's page, and you can click on record matches or research this person or the smart matches. Any of those things in the little box on the left. You see this little box over here on the left with record matches, smart matches, and research this person. I like to do, I like to do the research, or I like to do record matches. It depends. But in this case, I went to the record matches and immediately found that she's on WikiTree and she's on Genie. So that's good. Now I look and see at the WikiTree entry has her children. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a record that has Lisbeth and has Lisbeth in some detail. So I'm going to review that match. So I clicked on Review Match, and I get this nice page, and it shows me all these details, and I can see that the Lisbeth Oysten daughter, Vesti, born Björn, that's perfect. That's exactly who I'm looking for. And this is new information. Oh, I might as well bring in her brother Ola while I'm there. Okay, so now next I have to click Confirm Match, and then I get to a page where I can copy over each fact selectively. So, but remember, I'm working on her mother's page, so but there were some good facts about her mother. Finally, scrolling down, I get to Lisbeth, yay! And you see over here, there's this add as a new daughter. That's what I want. I want to add this person and all the information about her. So I click Add as New Daughter, and then I got a page just like the one where I can selectively do each fact. And the thing that I often forget, so don't forget this, is to click Save Record at the bottom right and watch it spin around and save that record for you. Once you've done that, now I have Lisbeth in my tree. So cool. All right, so whenever I work on a match, I like to leave myself a note as to what I found. So back to my dear cousin John, you can see I have second cousin on the Skjold side from Henry Martin Lee. And then you have to remember to say Save Notes. I like the fact that these days, if I write something in there and I click Close, it says, are you sure you want to close it without saving it? I do appreciate that. Thank you, MyHeritage, because I often make that mistake. So when I go looking through my matches that have theories, I can see that John is purple, so I know I've worked on this, so this isn't a new one to go looking for. That's a good way to keep track of your matches that you have looked at and you have figured out. Okay, so every 3 or 4 months, they run this theory of family relativity again. I have it on good authority that toward the end of December, early January will be the next run. So try to get your trees all nice and straightened out so that you'll be included in that next run. Okay, so I got a notice that they had a new run. Now, sometimes they have a purple banner where you can see just your new ones, but I tend to be backlogged, so by the time I get there, it's gone. So I do just what I did before, which is I go to the matches that have a theory, the way I showed you from the filters, and I look for those with an empty notepad. See that little gray thing there that's an empty notepad? And then I usually go straight to viewing the theory. Sometimes I review the match because there's lots of other good information, particularly if they have a good tree. But notice that Pear has a family tree with 3 people. That means him and his parents. So it's pretty amazing that we got a theory out of this match, don't you think? Only 3 people in his tree. The other thing I do when I look at my matches is I go down to the bottom of the page and reset it to the maximum, to 50. So I see all my matches with theories. I have less than 50. I don't know about you. So let's look at that pair who only had parents in his tree. I start looking at it and I can see immediately that it's wrong. Now, it's true, it only claims 27%, and I can see that the Halverson that it's matching my great-grandfather to is private, but his father, Halvar Arvidsson, that's the wrong father. I know that. His father was Halvar Austenson. Well, sometimes people put things in the tree wrong, like maybe it's still, I like to check on it. So I click on Halvar Arvidsson, and this box comes up. And what else do I see? So you notice the dates are the same, 1811 to 1902, but he's from Østfold. Now that's a completely different area of Norway. My Halvor is from Hordaland, and so is his dad. Well, actually, his dad may have been born one county north, but nowhere near as far away as Østfold. Yeah, you Norwegians, I know I'm mispronouncing that. So this theory is just no good. So too bad. Here's another case where when you have the same name and the same dates, the theory of family relativity will also match them up. Again, it says only 20%. How many Ole Johnsons do you have in your tree? Well, if you're Norwegian, you might have quite a few. So this Ole Johnson was born the same year and died the same year as this other Ole Johnson. But again, the places are just too different. This is not the right, this match is no good. So always check the locations, and if it's possible, maybe it's just the next door county, look at the other family members. So what's another way you can get bad theories? Well, I have a lot of cousins who seem to have just terrible trees. And one of them, a common error is when people are married more than once, that they put all the children under one spouse and your child is from a different spouse. So here is, over in Germany, here is my theory. And now I can see, at this point they had surnames. So I don't think Solomon Langerman is the son of Liebman Honungsberger, but I'm going to check on the details all the same. I mean, they're all from the same small Bavarian town. So it's not surprising I have a DNA match to this person since they were very intermarried, but this is not the correct pathway. Here's Solomon in my tree. Okay, so he was the son of Loeb Langerman, who was married to Semele Steinhardt Langerman. And as it turns out, Semele had more than one husband. Her other husband was Liebman Aaron Honungsberger. So the theory assigned my great-great-grandfather to Liebman, but that was incorrect because that's the second husband. So the fact that my match is descended from an ancestor of Liebman, that is not the pathway of our shared DNA. So this is another common error. Now, I don't want you to think that this theory is full of errors. Most of them are right. I have only 32 theories, but only 4 of them are wrong. And they're wrong for obvious reasons if you look at them carefully. Here's my fourth cousin and fourth cousin once removed, found with DNA. And I visited them on this day when they have this terrific fire to celebrate something or other in Norway. And I'm just so grateful to DNA for all the cousins I've met, for the trip I took to Norway. And I wish I had had all of this done when I took my trip to Germany in 2000, but I am in touch with at least one second cousin there now. So this link here, you can use this link to get to the slides, and I am ready to take questions, if there are any, about how to use theory of family relativity.
Fantastic. So some great examples there. And I already see some really great comments coming through. I see Bonda wrote, I can see I definitely need to get more of my tree on MyHeritage. So definitely the more you get up there, the more chances you have of finding new information, whether it be from smart matches or record matches or in combination with your DNA and a theory. Angie wrote, wow, thanks so much. So just some really great comments coming in, and a few questions for you as well, Kitty. We'll take a few one by one. Let's see, we have a question here. Where did that go? Here, Karen says, those 2 theories just now that were no good. Did you let MyHeritage know it was not correct? So I guess people want to know, what do you do when you have...
That's a good question, and I probably should have covered that in my talk. When you see a theory that's incorrect, you need to write to the person whose tree it's in and explain to them why it's incorrect. And you might hear back from them, or you might not. I've never heard back from the person who has the wrong Langerman, who has I wrote her, I'll write her again. And I have a second cousin whose tree is a mess, and I'm begging him for a login so I can go fix it. Basically, you need to get them to correct the tree that the information is coming from. And that's it. MyHeritage, the theory of family relativity, works off trees that are in their database. So if the trees are wrong, the theories will be wrong. So get the trees fixed.
And unfortunately, at this time, there is no option to ignore incorrect theories, but definitely something that gets requested quite often, and maybe we will add it in the future. I see that Margie wrote, okay, I just have to find the time to put more of my information in my tree. Thanks for the inspiration. Definitely.
Well, if you use the technique that I was using of finding smart matches or record matches and just clicking over the facts after you've checked them, my tree at MyHeritage is not anywhere near as up to date. My most up to date tree is on Genie, which is also owned by MyHeritage. So it's pretty easy to use the record matches to Genie to just click over the correct information.
Okay, we have a question here from Emma. She says, is it worth testing multiple siblings to help gain a bigger picture of the DNA profile?
Well, I have found second cousins the most useful because they target a particular great-grandparent couple. But my brother's test is quite different from mine in that I got, just based on that, we have one Jewish grandfather, and I'm 32% Jewish and he's 22% Jewish. So he has quite a different mix from me, and he gets some different matches from me. But we also have my dad tested, and that's the best because then you can separate what came from mom, what came from dad. So if you're going to give people with tests, yeah, sure. A sibling is great, but second cousins are my favorite because it's really additional information.
Great. Megan asks, I don't have any theory of family relativity. Is there a reason for this? And also, I guess, just tips or advice for our users who don't have theories and how they can make sure that they're included in the next batch.
Okay, make sure you have a tree. and that you tested your DNA at MyHeritage, or you've transferred your DNA from somewhere else, and that to an accountant that has a tree associated with it. But they only run it every 3 or 4 months, so you're going to have to wait probably till early January to have a theory. It's wonderful. These theories are fabulous. I am so impressed with how they do it and the different pathways but they don't run it every night. It's probably fairly computer intensive.
And just like you said, I believe there is an update coming soon, hopefully before the end of the year. So for any of you that still haven't uploaded a family tree to MyHeritage, if you have a file from somewhere else that you want to upload, or just some work to be done on your family tree, now's the time. Let's see, we have a question here from Doretta, and she asks, I have a DNA test at Ancestry and 23andMe. Is one company's test preferable to the other company for uploading to MyHeritage?
I really don't know the answer to that question. But the person who tested at MyHeritage and uploaded a test, it was from Ancestry. So I'm guessing that that's the right one to use. But that's just a guess. And basically, MyHeritage has to impute missing SNPs. Each company is using different chips these days, so it's not quite the same. All very annoying, but what they're trying to do is use a chip that has better ethnicity coverage, because nobody's getting ethnicity right when it's from small areas. Continents, yes. Southern Europe versus Northern Europe, yes. But my German keeps changing to Swedish, to Eastern European, to English. I mean, it never ceases to amuse me. MyHeritage has a really cool feature where you can go into the maps and see on the map what Germany is going to look like in your ethnicity. And it's going to look like Eastern Europe, English, Swedish, Norwegian. So the problem is that Germany was a crossroads.
Okay. Stephen says he can't get his parents to do DNA tests. So do you have any advice for him?
Get cousins to test. Try to understand why your parents don't want to test. I mean, once they're old enough to be on Medicare, or, it's not an insurance. I mean, people get worried about the weirdest stuff. If someone wants to clone me, it's fine with me, but they can't. I mean, the thing is that a DNA test is testing less than 1%. It's like 1% of 1% of your DNA. It's looking for the SNPs that are different. I mean, we are all at least 95% the same, maybe more, 99. That's what makes us human. So the tests are testing the places where we're different in order to try to determine our ethnicity and in order to match cousins. So all I can say is, tell them it's really nothing terrible will happen unless, obviously if they committed a crime in the past, maybe that might be their worry. But if you've tested, you've outed them.
Whether they like it or not.
That's right, whether they like it or not.
Okay. Let's see. We have Sherry says, I uploaded my 23andMe and I've gotten several theories. Thank you. So that's great. That's great, Sherry. And I saw a couple comments here about uploading trees versus creating new ones. So definitely just upload a GEDCOM file if you have from a different family tree service, and save yourself the hassle. You don't have to type everything in again. And it's just as good. And then you can go and keep adding to it. The more information you put into it, the more chances you have of getting a theory of family relativity. Let's see, I see a couple comments.
But one comment on that is,
Sure.
Once you have a reasonable sized tree on MyHeritage, you really don't want to replace it because you've made all these connections. So you use the smart matching and the record matching to update the tree you have, like I showed you in my talk.
Definitely. And it just, that's the thing about MyHeritage, having a tree on MyHeritage, is that we automatically just find you more and more connections. And
it's wonderful. And if you, like me, also have your tree on Genie, which is my preferred platform for my tree because I like the descendant and ancestor reports, I can use something called Smart Copy at Genie to copy over the new information. Also, they're connected. Genie is now owned by MyHeritage, so you'll get hints on MyHeritage that take you back to, you'll get hits on Genie that take you back to MyHeritage. So it's fun.
Fantastic. I see Kimberly wrote, I missed the first part of this. I guess I will need to go back and watch it. And I saw a few comments like that. So anyone who's missed part of today's show, you can rewatch it. If you didn't miss it, but you just want to rewatch Kitty's valuable session. So just so that you know, it's available on our Facebook page, facebook.com/myheritage. Under the video section, you'll find this one as well as all of our other Facebook Lives that you can watch and rewatch. Let's see.
Right, and I will, for those of you who came here because I told you on my blog that I'd be talking today, I will link the image on my blog back to that video once it's available.
Fantastic. And let's see, we have a few more questions here that we just didn't get to. Let's see. Marlene asks, are theories only produced for family trees that are public?
I don't think so, because I've found that, I'm not a member of someone's tree and yet it was used for a theory, but I haven't really investigated that, so I can't answer. You're always people who are living are always going to be private. So, as far as I know, yes.
So I think that you can opt out of it if you wish to opt out of smart matches. But like we always say, family trees are really collaborative, and that's how we learn and help each other kind of grow our trees. So it really is, if you decide to opt out, then also you won't get information from others. So it really is a shame to opt out from this great feature. Let's see. Let's see if we have any other questions here that we haven't touched upon. Marco says, every time I follow your advice given in the live videos, I always discover something amazing every single time. Unfortunately, today, I can't share amazing stories yet because I have no relativities, but this is just for now. Can you confirm that the theories are more likely to come when I test more relatives?
Well, you need a tree for the theories to come. You need other trees on MyHeritage that match up to your tree. So if your tree only goes to your grandparents and no one has your grandparents in their trees, you may not have much luck. On the other hand, if someone has those grandparents in Genie, which is connected to MyHeritage, you'll be fine. But try to get up to your great-grandparents so that the theory has something to work with, because it needs to match your family to other families and the families of those people who you match in the DNA. Such fun. Anyway.
And just one last question that we received for a further explanation about those Norwegian farm books. Somebody just mentioned they wanted to know what those were.
Go to my blog, and I have some links under genealogy for Norwegian genealogy, and a lot of that stuff's explained. There's this wonderful guy called Martin Rowe who blogs in Norway, and Norway has online archives, and MyHeritage has picked up a huge amount of those Norwegian records. So, for example, when I was working on Lisbeth, one of the things I found was her marriage record at MyHeritage, and I could just click that information over. In Norway is really fun, but you have to understand the naming, which can really drive people away. And so, anyway, I see a question. You have a surprise NPE. Michelle, who has a surprise NPE, I discovered that my great-great-grandfather's father was not Ole Johnson, but somebody else. So I have changed my tree and put that. So I had a whole blog post about that, and I found like a group of people who were all related to each other that, were like fourth cousin level, a cluster. Clustering is a whole nother topic. And I figured out that who my great great grandfather's father probably was, because he was living on the same farm in Norway. And so I changed it in my tree, and I now have at least one theory based on that new information. So even if you put in like, I'm not sure who this person is, and then their parents, the theory might hook you up. But you have to have the person in your tree for the connection to be made, or at least a stub that lets the theory match you up.
Okay, and I saw that Stephen asked, are there any seniors discounts? So Stephen, now is the time. We have a fantastic Black Friday discount. This is pretty much the best time of year to purchase DNA kits for you, for family members. The links are there in the comment section, so please do take a look. And we hope that you're able to take advantage of that great discount. So Kitty, I think now we'll choose a winner for today's prize, which is a MyHeritage DNA kit for one lucky winner. And today's winner is Karen Harrison. And Karen wrote, I have lots of Norwegian matches that I could not figure out until the theory of family relativity came out. Then MyHeritage showed me how these people were related to me. I was able to share some letters written to my South Dakota Norwegian ancestors from their family in Norway with one match that I shared great grandparents. What a story. What a story.
That's wonderful. Yeah, my great grandfather still wrote his siblings. They were all in America in Norwegian. I have some of those letters. So
amazing. Wow, Karen, what a discovery. And it's so nice to see a tool like this being used in just like such a perfect way, just connecting people from all over the world and being able to share those amazing heirlooms, those treasures that you're able to share now with those relatives that you were connected with. So congratulations, Karen, and we'll be in touch with you through private message about claiming your prize. Just so happy for you. Please enjoy. For anyone who didn't win, unfortunately, please do take a look at our Black Friday sale, and we hope you're able to take advantage of that sale that's going on now. Kitty, thank you so much for joining us today. We learned so much.
You're welcome. I see a couple of people asking about Geni, GENI.com, and it's free. And it connects two records at MyHeritage, so they play well together.
Fantastic. Yeah, Geni is a MyHeritage company, and you will get smart matches through Geni. So really a lot of fantastic MyHeritage tools that are integrated, and you'll be able to check out. Kitty, thank you again.
And the thing with Geni is it's a collaborative tree, so there's just one copy of each person. And they have curators who help resolve conflicts when you and someone disagree about your great-great-great-grandfather. So they can freeze a profile so people can't keep changing it on you. So I'm quite happy with Geni and with the relationship it has with MyHeritage. A little plug. Next talk will be Geni if you want another one.
Well, we're always interested in having you come to speak with us.
You're so kind.
Really, it's such a pleasure. So thank you all for joining us today, and we hope to see you all at our next Facebook Live. We have another one in 2 days from now, and if you take a look at our schedule that we have on the MyHeritage blog, blog.myheritage.com, we have a post there with all the upcoming Facebook Live sessions, so please take a look, and we hope to see you all at many more. Kitty, thank you so much, and we hope you have a great day.
You too, and I'm going to have Thai food for Thanksgiving. Delivered the day before. Thai leftovers. That's my new plan.
It sounds delicious to me.
All the Americans out there. And good to see you, Barbara and Corinne and Kathy Ann. Nice to see some of my cousins here.
Okay, great. So bye, everybody. See you later.